The moment you realize you are not his game is the moment you become his regret. This isn't just a quote, it's the harsh truth you need to face if you're ready to take control. You've been played, he knows it, and you know it. But here's the reality. His games only work because you let him. And it's time you stopped letting him. You've been stuck in this cycle of waiting for him to get his act together, questioning your worth and making excuses for his behavior. But what if I told you that the power to end this game is already in your hands? If you're tired of being manipulated, strung along, or treated like you're the backup plan, then this is the moment you change everything. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into how you can make him regret ever playing games with your heart. Trust me, this isn't just about getting even. It's about reclaiming your power. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, buckle up. You've been stuck in the emotional roller coaster he put you on for too long. He plays his little tricks, lures you back with breadcrumbs, and leaves you questioning everything about yourself. He thinks he's in control, doesn't he? Every time he pulls away, every time he cancels plans last minute, every time he gives you just enough attention to keep you hooked, he thinks he's winning. But here's the truth. He's not winning. You are, or at least you can be. The key to making him regret his actions lies in one simple thing: your decision to stop playing. Think about it like this. Imagine you're playing a game of chess, and your opponent keeps moving the pieces, thinking he's got you cornered. But you stop playing by his rules. You flip the board over and walk away. In that moment, his moves mean nothing. All that control he thought he had, gone. That's exactly what happens when you stop letting him play with your heart. You take back control, and suddenly his mind games don't work anymore. You become the game changer. Real talk. You've been chasing a man who's only been stringing you along, making you feel like you need him to be complete. But here's the cold reality check. You were never incomplete. You've been wasting your time hoping he'd step up, when the truth is, if he wanted to, he would have. Men who are genuinely interested in you don't make you beg for their attention. They don't leave you wondering where you stand. They show up. And that's where you've been missing the mark. It's time you stop waiting for him to show up and start showing up for yourself. When you do, when you finally walk away from his emotional games, you'll make him regret ever thinking he could play you. Let's look at a metaphor we've all experienced. Picture yourself as a beautiful garden. He's the careless gardener who plants seeds, waters them occasionally, and then leaves them to wither. And yet, you're sitting there, waiting for him to tend to the garden he's neglected, hoping that with time, things will improve. But when you start caring for your garden yourself, when you water it, nurture it, and watch it bloom, you realize that you were always the one capable of bringing it to life. Now, I want you to say it with me. I am not his game. I am his regret. Write it down in the comments. Don't skip this part. Do it for other queens out there, and say it to yourself too. Declare it to the universe. Because when you declare it, when you truly believe it, you'll stop giving him the power to hurt you. You'll stop playing in his world. And trust me, that's the moment he'll wish he'd never taken your heart for granted. What comes next? Well, we're just getting started. I'm about to show you how you can reclaim your power, make him regret everything he ever did, and leave him wondering where he went wrong. You won't be the one questioning your worth anymore. You'll make him do that. And in the process, you'll rise higher than he ever thought possible. Stay with me. This is where the real transformation begins. Understand the game. The weakness behind his behavior. He thinks he's in control, but here's the truth, he's not. Men who play these games, who toy with your emotions like they're some kind of board game, are nothing more than insecure cowards, and they're terrified of something that actually scares them. A woman who knows her worth, a woman who can't be played. The moment you stop falling for his tricks, the moment you stop letting him string you along, that's the moment his entire facade crumbles. Because deep down, he's afraid of what you'll do if you realize just how much power you hold. Let me break it down for you. He's terrified of real intimacy. That's why he keeps you at arm's length, playing games, pushing you away when things get too close. He doesn't want a connection. He wants control. Why? Because when he has control, he doesn't have to face the fear of being vulnerable. He doesn't have to worry about you walking away, taking away the power he's convinced himself he needs to survive. But that's not your problem. Your problem is that you've been letting him think he holds the cards. He doesn't. Now, let's expose his tactics. He's not confused. He's not unsure. Don't believe that bullshit for a second. This man is playing with you. He's testing your limits, pushing your boundaries, seeing just how far he can go before you finally break. And he's betting on one thing, that you won't walk away. He's betting on the fact that you care too much, that you'll keep chasing him, keep hoping that this time, just this time, it will be different. But let me tell you something. That's his game, and it ends the moment you stop playing. He pulls away, and you panic. He gives you just enough attention to keep you hooked, and you bite. He cancels plans, he leaves you hanging, and he knows you'll just wait around like some loyal puppy. And why? Because he's sure you won't walk away. He's convinced that you're too invested, too emotionally tied to his inconsistencies to ever leave. He's playing with your emotions like a toy, and he's loving it. But here's where you flip the script. Stop showing him that he has this power. Stop reacting to his games, and watch how fast he realizes he's been betting on the wrong horse. He's not unsure of what he's doing. He's not conflicted. He's got you right where he wants you, waiting, hoping, questioning your worth. And he knows exactly how to keep you there. But no more. His manipulation thrives on your uncertainty. So, let go of it. Recognize the game for what it is. Him trying to make you feel like you're not enough, trying to make you beg for scraps of attention. He wants you to doubt yourself. He wants to test you, and he's counting on the fact that you won't walk away. Now, it's your turn to break free. The moment you stop being the player in his game, the moment you realize your value isn't tied to his approval, that's the moment everything shifts. Step 1. Detach emotionally. Become a wall. You've been fed lies, haven't you? Society sold you this fairy tale of love, this twisted idea that love should be painful, confusing, and full of compromises. They told you to keep fighting for love, to never give up, and to endure every little test and manipulation because, hey, maybe this time it will work out. They've sold you the fantasy that real love comes at the price of endless emotional suffering. But I'm here to tell you something cold, something brutally real. Love isn't supposed to hurt this much. The pain you're feeling, that's not love. That's manipulation. That's someone playing you like a game. You've been programmed to believe that you should accept disrespect, that you should wait for the good moments to outweigh the bad. But let me ask you, when did you become so desperate for scraps of affection that you'd let someone drag you through the mud? When did your worth become tied to someone else's inconsistent behavior? This is where you stop. This is where the lies end. It's time to wake up and realize that every time you react to his games, you're only giving him more power. Every time you pick up the phone after he leaves you on read, Every time you chase after him when he pulls away, you're telling him that his manipulation works. You're telling him that his games have an effect. And let me be blunt here. Cut that shit out. Stop letting him pull the strings. Stop letting his childish behavior dictate how you feel. Here's the truth you need to hear. Emotions are powerful, yes, but they can be your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. You decide. And right now, your emotions are doing nothing but dragging you down. The pain you're feeling, that's him winning. That's you feeding into the game. But I'm not here to baby you or give you some half-assed comfort. I'm here to make you see the truth. You have the power to stop this. Become untouchable. Become the wall that he can't break. A woman who controls her emotions controls everything. If you don't react to his nonsense, if you don't feed into his mind games, he loses. It's that simple. But here's where most women mess up. They allow themselves to feel the sting of his actions. They let their hearts get tangled up in his manipulations, thinking they can fix him, change him, or make him realize the value of what he has. Listen carefully. You cannot change him. You can't save him. All you can do is save yourself. And it starts with mastering your emotions. No more falling apart when he disappears. No more crying over texts that don't come. No more wasting your energy on someone who can't even respect you enough to show up. The moment you become a woman who doesn't react, who doesn't need his approval to feel worthy, you become unstoppable. He will not know how to handle you because he'll realize that his games don't work anymore. You've stopped playing. So, here's what I want you to do right now. Take a deep breath. Let go of that pain. Take that emotional weight off your shoulders and drop it. You're not his emotional punching bag. You're a force. You're untouchable. You hold the power, and it's time you start acting like it. Say this with me. I control my emotions. I am untouchable. Write it down. Speak it out loud. And let it be a reminder of your power every single day. But this is just the beginning. You've got to rise from this pain, break free from the emotional traps, and get ready for what comes next. Because once you learn to master this, once you step into your full power, there's nothing and no one who can hold you back. Trust me, what's coming next will change the game entirely. Step 2. Change the game. Be the one. He can't predict. It's time to flip the script. All this time you've been living on his terms, answering his calls when he says so, rearranging your life to fit into his chaos, adjusting your needs to match his whims. And what has it gotten you? Absolutely nothing. You've been caught in his web, waiting for him to decide when he's ready to love you, when he's ready to give you what you deserve. But let me break it to you. He'll never be ready. Because a man who truly values you doesn't make you wait. He doesn't make you chase. He doesn't keep you in limbo, always wondering if today will be the day he actually shows up. You've been playing by his rules for too long. But guess what? Those rules, they're over. And here's what you're going to do. Disrupt his pattern. Throw him off course. Stop letting him think he's got you all figured out. You've been the one who answers when he calls, the one who picks up the pieces after he leaves them scattered all over the place. Stop that shit. Right now. The next time he calls, let it ring. Don't pick up. Don't chase him. Stop texting him back immediately. Don't give him the validation he's used to. Why? Because he's not a king. He's a jester. He's playing games because he thinks he can, because he thinks you'll always come running back. And right now, you need to start acting like you know he's not the king of your life. He's just a clown trying to get attention. and you're too powerful to be caught in his circus. It's time to make him feel the void he's created. Every time you stop reacting, every time you stop feeding into his behavior, you take away the power he's been relying on. Let's say it like it is. He's been treating you like an option, a backup plan, a safety net when he's bored or lonely. He knows you'll answer, knows you'll always be there waiting when he decides he's ready to show up. But that stops now. The moment you stop being predictable, the moment you stop responding the way he expects, the moment you make him realize that you don't need him, everything changes. No more chasing, no more waiting around for him to come to his senses. You are the priority, not him. Stop making excuses for his bad behavior. Stop justifying his silence or his emotional unavailability. Stop rationalizing his bullshit because you think deep down he really does care or just needs time. The truth? If he really cared, he wouldn't leave you in the dark. If he really cared, he wouldn't keep you hanging on with breadcrumbs of affection. If he really cared, he wouldn't make you question your worth by giving you nothing, only to throw in a little attention when he feels like it. You don't need to be the one to solve his problems, to make excuses for his inconsistency. Stop adjusting your life, your goals, your happiness, around someone who can't even make the effort to show you respect. And if he's really invested in you, he'll figure out that his inconsistency isn't just a temporary flaw. It's a deal breaker. You don't have time to waste on someone who can't even step up to meet you halfway. You don't have time to wait for someone to realize you're the one they need while they keep playing around with your emotions. He's used to you being there when he needs you, when it's convenient for him. He's used to you saying yes, to adjusting your schedule for him, to answering his texts and calls with no hesitation, no boundaries. But that's his game, and it's time to change the rules. Now it's your turn to make him question everything he thought he knew about you. He thought you'd always be there. He thought he could call the shots, and you'd fall in line. But now you're the one in control. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop answering on command, he'll feel it. He'll feel the shift. And suddenly, he'll be the one left wondering where you went, wondering why you're not at his beck and call anymore. The power dynamic shifts. And that's when you make him regret every second he took you for granted. Let him figure it out for once. Let him experience what it feels like to be the one waiting, to be the one wondering if you'll pick up, if you'll respond. He's not the priority anymore. You are. His games only work if you let them. His tricks only succeed if you keep falling for them. But you're smarter than that. You're stronger than that. You know your worth. You know what you deserve. And what you deserve is someone who sees you, who values you, who doesn't make you jump through hoops just to get their attention. Now, think about this. Imagine he's texting you, calling you, wondering why you're not reacting. The void you've created by no longer playing his game is more powerful than any argument or confrontation ever could be. His confusion, his panic, his desperation will start to build because he realizes something he didn't expect. You don't need him. And in that realization, he'll understand that you've taken your power back. Say this with me. I am the priority. I don't chase. Write it down. Speak it out loud. And remember, when you stop playing by his rules, you don't just stop chasing. You stop needing him to validate your worth. You make him earn it. And right now, he has no idea what's coming next. Stick with me, because the next step is going to leave him wishing he never underestimated you. Step 3. Make him feel your absence. Leave a void he can't fill. Here's the harsh truth you need to swallow. The moment you stop playing his game, the moment you step away from his manipulations, he's going to feel it. He's going to feel your absence like a punch to the gut, and he won't know what hit him. You've been there for him, waiting around, chasing his crumbs, hoping for the moment when he'd finally wake up and realize your worth. But here's the deal. You've been putting energy into a man who's been doing nothing but taking. He's been feeding off your time, your attention, your emotional investment. And it's time to stop letting him. The moment you pull back, when you stop responding, stop reaching out, he's going to feel something shift in the air. It's not just the lack of your presence, it's the fact that you've stopped validating him. And that, my friend, is what terrifies him. He thought he had you in his pocket, that no matter how poorly he treated you, you'd always come back. He thought he could play you like a puppet. He thought you'd be the one chasing after him, chasing after crumbs, chasing after scraps of affection that he occasionally decided to throw your way. But no more. Stop feeding his ego. Stop answering his calls when he reaches out at his convenience. Stop waiting for the right time, the right words, or the right excuses. And when he realizes that you're no longer available to him on demand, that's when the cracks in his armor will begin to show. His sense of control will begin to shatter because, deep down, he never thought you'd walk away. He never thought you'd pull back. And that's where the magic happens. Because when you pull away, when you go silent, he'll have no choice but to confront the reality of what he's about to lose. Here's what you need to understand. Men like him, the ones who are used to having their egos stroked, the ones who think they're invincible because they've managed to manipulate you for so long, they don't know what to do when you're no longer there. They expect you to always be around, to always be the one reaching out, the one begging for their attention. And the moment you stop, the moment you go silent, the moment you stop giving him that power, he's going to panic. Do you know why? Because he's not used to losing control. He's been running the show for so long that he doesn't know what it feels like to be on the other side. And that's exactly what you need to make him feel. The void you leave is the emptiness he never thought he'd face. You stop feeding him, stop validating his every move, and suddenly he'll be forced to reckon with the fact that he's losing you. And that realization, it'll haunt him. Now let's be clear. When he comes running back, and he will, you have to stay strong. Don't be fooled by his sudden interest. Don't fall for his apologies, his fake promises, his empty words. He won't be coming back because he's changed. He'll be coming back because he feels the loss of your presence, because he misses the power he had over you. Expect him to beg, but don't expect an apology. No, that's not what's coming. What's coming is his desperation. He'll beg for your time, your attention, your affection, because he knows exactly what he's lost. But this time, you're not giving it to him. You've taken back your power, and you're not about to hand it over again just because he's decided to show up after all the damage he's done. The key here is simple. Don't give in. Don't fall for the desperate calls or texts. Don't get caught up in the illusion that he's changed, that this time it'll be different. It won't. The fact that he's begging is a reflection of his weakness, not your worth. And when you see that, when you finally realize that his begging isn't an apology but an act of desperation, you'll understand just how much power you truly hold. When he comes running, don't meet him halfway. Don't answer the call right away. Don't drop everything to make time for him. Make him feel the weight of your absence. Let him feel the void he created when he thought he could have you on his terms. And when he realizes that you're not there to fill that void anymore, that's when you've won. This is how you shift the power. This is how you break free from the emotional leash he's had you on. By making him feel your absence, You're reminding him that you're not some side option, not some backup plan, not someone to be manipulated into coming back when it's convenient for him. You're a force, and when he sees that, when he realizes the depth of his mistake, that's when he starts to understand just how much he's lost. Now, say this with me. I don't chase. I don't beg. I make him regret. Write it down. Say it out loud. And remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to his desperation. It's tied to your own strength. When you own that, when you believe that, you'll never let anyone play with you again. And as for him, well, he's going to wish he never took you for granted. But don't get comfortable. What comes next is even more powerful. Stay with me. This journey's only just begun. Step 4. Set your boundaries. No more excuses. Let me hit you with some hard truth. The moment you let him back in after a string of disrespect, you're teaching him that it's okay to treat you like garbage. Stop accepting the crumbs he throws your way. You're not his charity case. You are not here to be his emotional outlet when he's bored or to fill a void when he's lonely. You are the standard. The moment you let him back in without him earning it, without him respecting you, you're telling him that his disrespect is acceptable. You're telling him that you'll tolerate less than you deserve. And that's where the game ends. You've been playing along for too long, letting him walk all over you, just hoping he'll change. You think maybe, just maybe, if you're patient enough, if you give him one more chance, he'll realize your worth. Let me make this crystal clear. If he wanted to change, he would have. Men who truly value you don't need constant reminders. They don't keep you waiting for a text, don't disappear for days without a word. They show up, consistently. So, let me ask you, why are you still accepting the scraps he's feeding you? Why are you waiting around for someone who hasn't even made an effort to show you that you matter? You are not here to beg for his attention. You're not here to prove your worth. If he can't see it already, then it's time to stop chasing a man who doesn't know how to appreciate you. You don't need him to realize your worth. You need to realize it yourself. Every time you accept less, every time you let his excuses slide, you're lowering the bar. You're making it easier for him to walk all over you. But this is where you stop. This is where you raise the bar. It's time to set boundaries. Time to stop letting him back in when he's done nothing to earn your trust or respect. Here's the hard part. When you start setting boundaries, when you stop accepting less than you deserve, there's a chance he'll get angry. He'll get mad that you're no longer giving him the power. He'll try to guilt trip you into thinking you're being unreasonable. He'll throw a tantrum because he's used to getting his way. But you know what? That's not your problem. It's his. His inability to accept responsibility for his actions is his burden to carry, not yours. Here's the reality check. He will either rise to your standards or he will keep falling. The choice is his. But you're going places, whether he's part of the picture or not. And if he's smart, he'll start realizing that he's not part of your plan anymore. You're not just some side character in his story. You are the main character in your own life, and you're writing your own damn script now. So, stop waiting for him to change. Stop making excuses for his behavior. Stop rationalizing the things he does that make you feel less than, unimportant, or even invisible. His actions speak louder than his words ever will. And his actions. They say he doesn't value you the way you deserve to be valued. So, it's time you act on that realization. You're not some backup plan. You are the priority. You are the woman who doesn't settle. And if he can't see that, if he can't rise to your level, then he has no place in your life. This is your time. It's time to stop dimming your light, just to make someone else feel comfortable. It's time to stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's idea of what you should be. You're already everything you need to be. The only thing you need to do now is believe it. And here's the kicker. When you set these boundaries, when you start respecting yourself enough to demand respect from others, he will either meet you there or he'll fall away. And guess what? If he falls away, it's not your loss. He's simply making space for someone who actually values you, someone who isn't going to make you beg for attention, someone who is going to show up and prove you're worth the effort. Now, I'm not saying this will be easy. It won't be. It's going to hurt. There will be moments of doubt. There will be moments when you question if you're doing the right thing. But that's when you need to dig deep and remind yourself why you're doing this. You're doing it because you deserve better. You're doing it because you're worthy of someone who can love you fully, without games, without manipulation, and without making you feel like an option. So here's the affirmation I want you to repeat with me. I set my standards high. I refuse to accept less than I deserve. Say it out loud. Write it down. Let it fuel you. This is your declaration. No more excuses. No more compromising your worth for someone who doesn't have the decency to show up. You are the prize. And anyone who can't see that, they don't deserve a second of your time. But don't stop here. What comes next is about taking this newfound power and building a life where you're the one who controls the narrative. Stay tuned, because the best part of this journey is yet to come. Step 5. Make him realize. He lost the prize. Don't give him the satisfaction. Here's where you stop being the one chasing, the one waiting, the one wondering if he'll change. Here's where you flip the script on him in ways he never saw coming. It's time for you to show him what it really looks like when a woman knows her worth. And let me tell you something. This is where the real power lies, in making him realize he's the one who lost. Let him sweat. Let him feel the panic rise in his chest as you disappear, as you stop chasing after him, as you stop giving him the time of day. Every text he sends, every call he makes, will only make him feel more and more desperate, because you're no longer there. You're no longer waiting by the phone, no longer hanging on his every word. You've walked away, and in doing so, you've taken back everything he thought he had control over. He thought he was the one pulling the strings. He thought he had you trapped. But what he didn't realize is that you were the one who had the power all along. And now, he's left wondering if he's ever going to see you again. When you walk away, you're not just leaving him physically. You're leaving him in the dust, emotionally. You're showing him that his games don't affect you, his words don't move you, and his manipulation has no place in your life. His ego might be bruised, but that's the point. Let him feel it. Let him feel the weight of his own stupidity. Because the truth is, he knew what he had in you. He just never thought he'd lose it. But now, he has. And you're not coming back. And here's the real kicker. When you stop playing his game, when you stop bending over backwards for him, you become untouchable. He'll try to reach you. He'll try to get you back. But here's the cold, hard truth you need to face. If he truly valued you, he wouldn't have treated you like an option. He wouldn't have kept you waiting. He wouldn't have played his little games, pushed you away, and then tried to reel you back in when it suited him. He wouldn't have taken your love and loyalty for granted. But he did. He thought you would always be there, always waiting for his scraps, always hoping he'd come around. But guess what? It's too late. He's not coming back to the version of you that he left behind. The woman he's about to face is a woman who knows what she deserves, a woman who won't settle, and a woman who isn't going to stand around and beg for someone's affection. He might try to apologize. He might try to tell you he's changed. He'll throw everything at you, empty promises, sweet words, all of it. But you're smarter now. You've been through his tricks. You know better than to fall for that bait. And now you're the one who has all the power. Let him try. He will. But when he does, you don't give him the satisfaction. Don't let him crawl back in as if nothing happened. Don't let him waltz back into your life with that same smirk, thinking he can fix everything with a few pretty words. This is where you stand your ground and show him that you're done. Done with the games, done with the manipulation, done with letting him treat you like an option. You're not an option, you're a priority. And a man who doesn't see that doesn't deserve a second chance. He had his chance, and now he lost it. What happens next? That's up to you. The ball's in your court. When he comes back, you get to decide. You get to show him that you're not going to be his backup plan, his safety net, or his second choice. You are the prize, and he needs to know that. When you stop answering his calls, when you stop responding to his texts, when you stop falling for his manipulative tactics, you're doing something much bigger than just walking away. You're showing him exactly what he lost. You're showing him that he didn't just lose a woman who was willing to love him unconditionally. No, he lost a woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle for anything less. And that is something he can't get back. So, let him sweat. Let him wonder what went wrong. Let him question every little thing he ever did, every moment he ever took you for granted. But don't go back. Don't cave in. Don't let him have the satisfaction of thinking he can win you over just because he's finally ready. Because if he was ever truly ready, he wouldn't have played with your heart in the first place. This is your moment. This is your time to show him and the universe that you're done being anyone's second choice. You've taken your power back, and now you stand stronger than ever before. He thought he could have you on his terms, but now you're on your terms. And trust me, those terms are non-negotiable. Say this with me. I am the prize, and no one gets to have me unless they earn me. Write it, speak it, believe it, and hold on tight, because what's coming next will shatter everything you thought you knew about love and leave him begging for something he'll never get back. The final blow. So, Queens, you've done the hard work. You've shed the illusions, broken free from the lies, and taken back the power he thought he had over you. But here's the truth. The real transformation is just beginning. This isn't about revenge. It's not about making him feel small, although he might. It's about you rising. It's about you stepping into your full power and making it clear that no one, absolutely no one, gets to treat you like an option. You're not just reclaiming your peace, you're claiming your throne. He'll look at you now and wonder what happened. He'll feel the weight of his actions and the cold distance you've put between you and him. But that's not your problem. It's his. He lost the privilege of your time, your energy, and your love. And now, you're too busy building your life to care about what he's lost. It doesn't matter if he tries to crawl back or make some weak attempt at redemption. You've already walked away from the version of him that failed you, and you're walking straight into a future where you're the one who holds all the cards. You are the queen of your own world, and from now on, everyone else better respect that. Don't let the empty promises and the fleeting moments of affection fool you. His manipulation doesn't have the same power over you anymore. The moment you realized you were the prize is the moment he lost his chance. He's the one who has to live with the regret, not you. Now, let's wrap this up with a call to action. This is your time to shine. You've taken the first step, now take it all the way. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. This community of strong, unapologetic women is just getting started and you belong in it. Share this with another queen who needs to hear it. Don't keep this breakthrough to yourself. Let's rise together. The world doesn't know it yet, but it's about to meet the new version of you. Unstoppable, unapologetic, and untouchable. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned for more.